This is the long that I ended up taking, and it took off. The thing popped off, and like I said, and I sent it in the Discord, this is what the trade looked like. I was up about $400 twice on this day, but my greediness. And all right, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in to another one of my videos. If this is the first time that you're tuning in, I want to say thank you. First and foremost, my name is Lewis, and I am just documenting my trading journey. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how your week has been going down in the comments for sure. Make sure you share with somebody who's also on their trading journey. Yeah, let's get right into the video. Like I said last week, I'm going to show the account balance at the end of the video. I had a very good week. I wasn't bad at all. Could have been better, and journaling has been helping me a lot, and it's going to keep helping me because without journaling, there's nothing that would allow me to track my data and see what I'm doing wrong and see what I have to correct at the end of the day. So what I'm going to do this weekend is, like I always do, go back on the trades that I took from this week, go back on my journal and try to eliminate those things from my trading, because at the end of the day, the most important thing is to peel back those layers from the onion, like I have said before, and just get better. As you can hear, I am a lot better. I feel a lot better physically. I am back to the gym. I'm back to my regular routine, and my voice is getting a lot better. So yeah, I want to just make sure that you guys avoid the problems that I am going through and that I'm trying to learn from, because a lot of the things that happened this week is probably stuff that's going to happen to you and that you can learn from. So let's not talk too much. I don't want to make this video long. I want to get into the trades that I took this week. I only took about, if I'm being honest, let me see, 4 trades this week. Wasn't too bad in terms of trade ideas. That's not bad at all, honestly. I actually took about 3 trades this week, and 1 was a loss. So, you know, 4 in total and 3 ideas. One of them wasn't too much of an idea. It was much of a trade just to take a trade, but you live and you learn from that. So either way, let's get into the sponsor of this video and the Discord, and then after that, we'll talk about what happened this week. All right, now we are in the sponsor of this video, Techtronix.com. Like I told you in the last episode, they were going to do some remodeling to their website, and they did. As you can see, fresh new logo, and the website itself is different now. So I'm just going to show you guys how it works. Anything that has to do with trading will be in the trading setup. You get in here and you get to see all the stuff that has to do with the Lewis Visuals brand, and it ranges from $800 to $2,600. Like I always say, my favorite setup is always the Futures setup LV Flip. Use my discount code LV Flip for 10% off. And as you can see, this is how the website ends up looking now, and it has all these other setups down here. If you come into the website, for me it was a little bit confusing when I first got into the website, because I was like hitting buttons and nothing would happen. I would just see a flash and then it would be in the same thing. You just got to scroll down and it becomes really apparent. But as you know, you head into the shop now and you get all the different collections. The Nova Strike collection, you head in here and you see everything that is provided, also with its parts and everything like that. They have free shipping, so take advantage of that. And if you want to contact them, you just head over to the side, you hit the contact them, and you could reach out and build your own PC with whatever parts you want available. So make sure you go and check them out. Link is down in the description. Now we're into the Discord. This is the Discord. Make sure you guys check the link down in the description as well if you want to join the Discord. You can see that it's been getting really active recently. I love it. I thank you guys so much if you're in here talking, because I want to make sure that this gets very active. And as you can see, I had a couple trades in here that I sent. Some people were also sending their executions as well. So I thank you so much if you're in here talking. We have been getting a bunch of new members, so I thank you guys for that. But like I said, please, if you join the chat, just talk. Let's make it a very active chat. We have about 40 something members, so it should be fairly active, and it is while during the trading days. So if you guys have any suggestions of what you want me to add in terms of stuff in here, I did add the profits and losses. I haven't added anything to the channel yet, but I do need to get back to the backtesting channel as well, and then the crypto. As you can see, somebody was just talking about it. So make sure you guys join. That is basically it. Link is down in the description. Now let's talk about what ended up happening this week. This is what this week ended up looking like. As you can see here, we had a fairly choppy week in terms of the weekly candle. I'm pretty sure the weekly candle was mostly wicks. Yeah, as you can see. But now we have a fair value gap that's left in there. So we have to see if next week maybe we come in and take out the high to then come back down into that, and that could be a potential, how do I say, a potential fair value gap with an order block. That is potential as of right now. There's really nothing that we could say. I will turn off some of the drawings so that you could see. So yeah, we had 2 down days, and then we had the rest of the week, which was, you know, it wasn't too bad. Especially Wednesday was just unexpected as hell. I was not expecting that. But let's get into the days, and then we'll just talk about what ended up happening. So on Monday, I took this trade right here. I took it on the 5-minute, if I'm not mistaken. I noticed that overnight we had rejected this high and came back within the range, but I saw it as a turtle soup continuation continuation to what ended up actually being the start of this dump. I honestly should have held my trade a lot longer, if I'm being 100%. I got a win. I can't be mad. I think I took one trade right before that with one contract and got stopped out, and then I hopped in on the second turtle soup with two contracts because I knew that it was gonna end up holding. This was my actual entry, and like I said, I saw that we were in this chop most of the time. Then I saw that we ended up coming back up into the new week opening gap right here on the 15-minute, and when I saw that and saw that it started holding and turtle souped that 15-minute candle, I knew that we were gonna end up targeting the low right here was my target. I wasn't expecting it to come down this low, and that is my problem. I should have been paying attention to order flow and to what liquidity pools or higher time frame liquidity pools were being targeted, and that would have been this low from Friday, and that's because we ended up souping the high from Friday and then rejecting. We souped it twice, so that was confirmation that we were gonna go lower. I should have held my short a lot longer this day, but it's okay. I made about $230 on this trade, but it could have been a lot bigger if I would have just held. And like I said, I entered off that turtle soup on the 5-minute, if I'm not mistaken. I first entered on this here on my first trade. I entered in here, and then it came all the way down, and I thought it was gonna go hit my TP right away, but it ended up turning around, coming back up, stopped me out. And then as soon as I saw us soup this 5-minute candle right here and close within it, I entered, and then it just went, and that was the perfect trade. That was a kiss of death trade actually, because it was the last turtle soup before we ended up taking out sell side liquidity. Yeah, it was the basic trade for Monday, nothing crazy. Now let's just move on to Tuesday. On Tuesday, I read Tuesday all wrong. This is not the trade that I took. I was back testing on Tuesday, and I will explain this, but first let me show you guys the trade that I actually took on Tuesday. Okay, this is the long that I actually took, and I didn't take it over here. I took it about right here. This was my entry. It was a 5-minute fair value gap entry. It was my fault on Tuesday that this ended up happening because one, I was trading the manipulation without even realizing it. So I read the whole trade completely wrong, and once I paid attention and saw what was actually happening, I was like, oh, okay, it makes a lot of sense. But I entered in here once we came into this 5-minute fair value gap. We ended up taking off. I was in a bit of profit, about $100 and something, if I'm not mistaken. I think I only took this with one contract. I think I sent a screenshot to on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, in the Discord. So yeah, this is the trade that I took on Tuesday. I don't know if I sent anything else before that. Yeah, I did. So yeah, I took it with one contract, as you guys can see here. This is what ended up messing with me all week. It's just not taking profits. I was thinking about taking profits once we came up here, did not take my profit, and then I saw that we came back down, so I moved my stop to break even. Price came back down, stopped me out at break even, and then went right back up to turtle soup one more time and then send it lower. And that's when I noticed that I was just completely wrong, and I was trading the manipulation instead of trading the actual continuation or the actual expansion. As you guys can see, it was my fault because the draw on liquidity was actually the low from Thursday, so it was my fault for trading this continuation. And how did I know that it was wrong? It was after I ended up back testing it, and I said I was gonna back test it in the Discord, and I kind of forgot, so I apologize for that. But I will show the back testing idea that I did right here, which is basically there was an SMT. As you can see, we had an SMT on Tuesday with this high. As you can see, we created a higher high on NQ, and ES did not create a higher high, so we had a bearish SMT, which was the first confirmation that we were gonna end up going short. And I wasn't paying attention to that because I was stopped out, and I was too focused on the fact that I got stopped out to see the real move, but it came after. So as you can see, then we take the previous day range, we came up to let me take this one off. If you take the previous day range, we came up to OTE 62%, and we turtle souped the 4-hour and the 15-minute to then send it lower. So this was a very clean, clear cut trade. Apart from this, another very, very valid entry, if not taking the turtle soup like I had marked off right here. So let's say you didn't take this entry on the turtle soup up there because you didn't want to, jump in without having more confirmation. This is a very advanced entry. The other entry that could have been taken was once this buy side liquidity was swept, this candle right here. So you guys can see, so this liquidity was taken. I'm gonna erase this stuff for now. As you see, this candle's high was taken. This ends up becoming an order block. As soon as we engulf this candle and close below it, this becomes an order block. An entry that could have been taken. This would have been a safer entry with more confirmation, like I said, since this is the candle that took out buy side liquidity, and as you can see, it ended up being turtle souped itself, which was the advanced entry. But just in case, you could have gotten in once we retest tested this order block with an entry right at the order block, with your stop above the order block, and then targeting the sell side liquidity. And as you can see, you would have been in a little bit of drawdown, but not really in it. And as you can see, it was a 4R, wasn't a bad entry at all. Honestly, this is a very good trade. So this was the safer entry to take on that trade. And like I said, I was back testing, so I saw the more advanced entry, and it would have been a 17R, but at the same time, you can't really worry about the RR. You have to just make sure that you're focusing on good quality trades. So this ended up becoming an order block, and having your stop above the order block after we closed below it would have been totally fine. It would have been an extremely good trade, and you'll find a pattern like this in a lot of entries that I end up taking. And I don't want to say pattern because I don't trade patterns. I trade the logic behind it. So let's move on to Wednesday. Nobody was expecting this right here, nobody, because on the day before, actually, as well, on the 4 hour, you can see we were respecting this sell side imbalance. So that is also showing us that we were going to end up going lower. But if you can see right here, we were rejecting these lows. Bullishness was expected on this day, and I think since we were also in a daily gap right here, it was expected for price to head higher, especially since if you measure out the fair value gap, you see we closed above the 50%. This wick coming down was just price coming lower to do damage, but the bodies show you the actual story. But like I said, I don't think anybody was really expecting for price to boom the way it did, and I don't think there was any real entries except for 8:30 if you were awake during that time. I didn't wake up on time for these days, but this was CPI if I'm not mistaken, and I've noticed that CPI has been forming a lot of very good trades recently. As you can see, there was a fair value gap entry. If you were bullish, you could have took that fair value gap entry. I think it looks better on the 5 minute if I'm not mistaken, but you could see off the fact that we were rejecting these lows and starting to trade higher, you can tell that price was gonna end up going higher, and this was probably the best entry that I would have been able to notice if I was up at that time. Now, where would I have my stop? I would have probably had my stop at that low and targeted buy side liquidity. Honestly, I probably would have been targeting this buy side or this buy side. I wasn't expecting price to take out all-time high, but it did. As you can see, it did it basically in 1 4-hour candle. So a lot of people were expecting price to be bullish, but they weren't expecting price to be this bullish and just boom all the way up to the all-time high. But I took one trade and it was a bad trade. I took a short right here as soon as we took out this buy side liquidity, and I was in profit for a little bit, and then it just kept booming. But this doesn't make sense. We were rejecting lows. We had taken out Monday's range low, also a bunch of liquidity from Thursday and Friday. It's not even worth it. Not really worth taking a short up here. I count that as a trade that didn't need to be taken. I only took one trade this day because it was just booming, and honestly, there was really no real retracements to be able to join in on this move. There was just no real entries on this day, so I just sat back and watched it. Let's move on to Thursday now. On Thursday, I noticed that we had souped this buy side up here. So overnight, I didn't take this trade, but overnight I could have took a short, especially once we entered this 15-minute fair value gap, because ES was very weak. ES didn't even get close. I'll just show ES real quick. As you can see, this is what ES looked like on Thursday, and if you compare that to overnight session, ES didn't get into that fair value gap, so that would have been a nice entry to go short. That SMT showing ES being very weak could have been the short in here somewhere. Maybe have the stop above that gap and then target the sell side, which was this right here. Very nice short that could have been taken, and I called it out. I was talking to my boy the night before, and I was like, it's gonna hit that low, and then there's probably gonna be longs tomorrow. I just don't know how deep inside this gap. This is a 4-hour gap as well. We were gonna get into, and I measured it as well to see how far we would get. As you can see, this explains a lot of why this happened later on, and why this trade didn't end up hitting all the way. But let me talk about it. So we come in. I already anticipate us moving higher since we had swept this sell side level. We had the news at 8:30, which created this big candle. I saw that we came down back into the new week opening gap, and we're respecting it. I took a long down here. This was my actual entry. I took a long. So you can see, this is the long that I ended up taking, and it took off. The thing popped off, and like I said, and I sent it in the Discord, this is what the trade looked like. I was up about $400 twice on this day, but my greediness and not paying attention to the charts messed me up. Please don't do this. If you're in a trade like this and it's a short-term intraday trade, make sure you pay attention to SMTs, because as you can see, we ended up coming up and we took out the news high, high, and that should have honestly been my target, while ES never got up there. I'll show you guys ES right here. Thursday news high is right there, so you can see we made a higher high. ES never made a higher high, so I should have been paying attention to that, especially on this one. Once we came back up and souped it again, this didn't even get close to getting up there, and then it just derailed and went just straight to the ground. And what happened was I was in profit, saw it come down. I was still trusting my idea. It came back up. I'm thinking it's gonna go hit my target, because this was my actual target. I was targeting this high, and as you can see, we were a couple points away from hitting my target, and then it reversed. And I should have known as soon as we started breaking down and we formed that SMT, I should have just got out. But my problem is, even when the chart is telling me get out of the trade, I don't get out and I watch it. I was up $400 both times that I was up here, and I could have got out with those $400, and I also had a chance to get out all the way through this, and at 300, 200, back up to 200, could have got out at any moment in there. But me being hard-headed and me holding messed me up on this day instead of securing and maybe looking for this long later on. But man, I was so angry on myself. I got out like around here with about $90 instead of getting out with 400, and that is the story of this week. So Monday I have a winning trade. Tuesday was a break-even trade because I read it wrong. Wednesday I take one small loss with one contract, and then Thursday I have this trade about $400. Could have had amazing profit, never closed, and it's my fault. And then we come back down and soup my entry, which if you go on the 5-minute and you see the same order block entry, as you can see, this is the candle that took out the sell side liquidity. So this right here becomes a bullish order block. As you can see, that candle is the bullish order block. Could have longed at the bullish order block, but you're stopped below the order block low. And what would you target? The same high that I was targeting before. If you have enough patience, the all-time high, let it run even up to that. Because the thing is, this was a protected highs, so for price to come up, and even if we souped this, it would have came back down at some point to do something like it did, because this high was protected. So it had to come down, take out this low to then be able to come and run all the way up to that high. That's what ended up happening. And then I was really mad at myself because I didn't wake up on time on Friday, so I decided not to trade on Friday, and it was a conscious decision. I said I'm not gonna trade on Friday. Also on Thursday here, I took the last manipulation leg, which is this manipulation leg, and the fib gave me the all-time high, so that's kind of why I was holding as well. I was like, it's gonna run through this. No, it didn't. And I should have known that the way that we came up and took that out and then came back up again to soup, which is double souping and SMT, bearish SMT, should have known to get out fully. But now let's move on to Friday. Friday we had this amazing short, which was this was a TGIF Friday setup because we had formed a crazy big range until this point. So as you can see, at 9:30 it just ended up booming. I probably, honestly knowing myself, I probably would have took the long, and then if I was paying attention to ES, as you can see here, ES didn't make a higher high. ES made a lower low, so it was very weak, or it made a lower high, which means that it's very weak. So we had a bearish SMT. We turtle soup right here. We ended up turtle souping this high. So my entry, knowing myself, would have probably been like somewhere in this candle once we closed inside of it, somewhere in here, with my stop probably above there, and then targeting the low of Asia or the gap for the day. But in there, 6R, not a bad entry. And if I probably go on the 1 minute, we'll probably see an order block entry. Let me see. Okay, so as you can see, we do have an order block entry. Very nice order block entry on the 1 minute. As you can see right here, this is the order block because it took out the previous buy side liquidity. It's a bearish order block. As you can see, we come back in it. So the entry would have been right here, stop above it. And this is after this candle closes below that. So this wouldn't even been a part of the trade. Everything past this would be. We closed below it, could have entered right there. You would have been in drawdown here, been in profit, came back up one last time, been in drawdown for this, and then after that just seen it tumble all the way down, and you would have seen this as a 13R. That is a crazy entry, but like I said, I wasn't awake, I was sleeping, and that's honestly my fault. I said I wasn't gonna trade this day. You know, sometimes on days like this you're gonna miss out crazy trades like that day, and I was a little bit upset because I was like, yeah, I should have been up, but at the same time, it happens. Apart from that, actually everything that happened this week, I will now show you what the account is at, and it would have been a lot better, but let's just show you. So as you can see right here, the equity of the account is at $347. So we did make some profit this week, but it would have been at about $700 if I closed on Thursday. So Thursday was really what messed it up for me. I should have closed this trade up here on Thursday, and I would have been in a lot of profit for this week. And honestly, I think I could do it. I think I could get back to the $3,000 slowly. Obviously, it can't be rushing anything, but we just have to see how price actions ends up working out for the rest of December. I probably will stop trading the week before Christmas, but we'll just have to see. If not, we'll just have to wait until next year for price action to get started up again and start moving nicely. But that's the end of the video. Like I said, thank you so much for watching until the end. If you did, make sure you leave a comment, leave a like. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the subscribers that we've been getting. As you can see, we're already at 1,081. Last video we were like 1,074. So thank you so much for subscribing. The videos have been doing very well, especially the reels recently. So thank you so much for that. I am very appreciative. Like I said, check out Tektronix.com. Use my discount code LVFLIP for 10% off. Join the Discord down in the description. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of the week. Make sure you stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.